it's Andrew. So I recently posted a video discussing the topic of should you buy an electrical toothbrush compared to a manual toothbrush. And in that video I discussed my rationale for how I ended up picking a toothbrush, how I ended up deciding to choose a toothbrush, and ultimately kind of picking which brand of toothbrush I wanted. And the conclusion of that video was I wanted to purchase ended up purchasing the Oral-B Pro 1500, which is what you see here. And so as promised, related to that video, I wanted to do an unboxing video and show you the features of the Pro 1500, and so that's what we're going to do in this video today. Before we begin, if you can just hit the like and subscribe button, that'd be awesome. But what I'm going to just do is essentially line up the camera so that you can see the box. We'll unbox it and then go over the basic features that come with it. This is the paired model where you get two separate brushes in it. It comes with three separate brush heads, and then there's two separate charging stations, as well as two travel cases. But you can get separate models on Amazon or on the Oral-B website where you get an individual toothbrush. But in this, I got a pair of toothbrushes for me and my girlfriend, ultimately for the Pro 1500. So let me just set up the camera, we'll do an unboxing, and we'll kind of go over the basic features. Okay, so as I discussed, this is the Oral-B Pro 1500 model. This specific box or kind of combination comes with two separate toothbrushes, three brush heads, two traveling cases, and then two charging stations. I discussed this in detail in my other video discussing how I ended up choosing this toothbrush, but the major features for the Oral-B Pro 1500 is it has the usual Oral-B connection or oscillating toothbrush head where you can replace it on a regular basis. Usually these toothbrush heads last roughly 3 months, and they're recommending replacing it after 3 months. The other thing is it has a built-in pressure sensor with a light built into it, so you'll get a visual cue or feedback when you're brushing your teeth too heavily, so that you have feedback and can kind of adjust your brushing behavior accordingly. It has it'll have a button on it with 3 separate cleaning modes for daily clean, sensitive teeth, and as well as whitening. And there's going to be a built-in 2-minute quadrant timer that allows you to brush accordingly. So that's all the features that come with it. This is just the back of it. It's pretty straightforward as far as explaining those features, and this is kind of what the case should look like. But we'll get this open right now. I ended up purchasing this through Walmart actually, because on Amazon it was a little bit more expensive. I got this around Christmas time for, Christmas time 2021. Online it was I think about $100, but if you looked on Amazon at that time it was a little bit more expensive. So when you open the box, this is kind of what it looks like. We'll just get the box to the side. As you can tell, so first off there's 3 separate heads right here, and then you've got the 2 separate travel cases, and then this is the toothbrush itself. Sorry, there's a piece of stuff over there. And then you have the instruction manual, and then I suspect these are the 2 chargers. So that's everything that comes in the box. So the 2 chargers, the actual handles, the instruction manual, the 3 separate heads. This one has a red, this has like a little yellow on it, and then this has a blue. That makes sure that you don't, if you're using it with somebody else, you can kind of color coordinate and you know whose is whose, so you don't use somebody else's toothbrush. And these are the traveling cases. I'll leave these closed for now, or I'll open one at least so that you can see what it looks like. But these are regularly replaceable, and Oral-B does offer a wide variety of options if you have personal tastes as far as the type of toothbrush head. And then we'll open the rest. So let's just kind of go about this one by one. So this is the cases. And then these are the heads or handles, and then this is should be the charging station. Not sure entirely how I'll get this out, but we'll figure it out. I'll just rip it open. Or here, it actually just pushes out. And I'm sure it's got a cord kind of laid in there. So that's one of those. Similar, this will push out. Open that. And kind of, that's one of those. So that's everything in the box. As far as the instructions, we'll just kind of look at it just to get a general glance. So a bunch of warning stuff, kind of in English and other languages. Kind of shows what's in there and just general instructions. I won't go into it beyond that, because if you purchase this, you can kind of look into it a little bit further. As far as the cords for the charger, we'll just kind of see how long it is, just so you get a general idea. Sorry if I can get this zip tie off. It's kind of wrapped all the way around it. There you go. So it's probably about 3 feet long. So if you put it on your like your table or your counter, you should have enough space. And then this is actually the actual toothbrush. So on the bottom here is the charging station, so you should be able to stand it directly on that and have it stand up easily, which allows you to charge it on a regular basis with it plugged into the wall. The top is where you plug in your toothbrush, obviously, and then when you press power, it'll turn on. And then there's a separate setting when you press it again, and then a third setting, and that's how you turn it off. So if you turn it on, it's like a higher setting, that's what it sounds like. And then if you press it again, it's like a lower setting. And then that's this kind of pulsating setting, I guess. And that's everything. I'll take out one of the toothbrushes, or the heads of it. Oops, sorry. Just so we can kind of see what it looks like. So we'll just slide this onto the bottom. Or actually, I think this slides up here. Yeah, it clips in like that. So if you see that, and then we'll slide it on. So it's pretty secure like that. And then we'll turn it on. So this is what it looks like. So that's the one setting. That's the separate setting. And that's the third setting. Which is like, it's like a pulsating setting where it's like a little bit louder or not. And then it's off. There's no other buttons on this. And then, well, let me run it because it should have a 2-minute timer. But there should be a light here that shows up if you press against it. So there you go. So if you press too hard, you'll get a light and it'll kind of stop there, and that's it. So that's a nice kind of feedback. You'll be able to brush your teeth at the same time. And we'll just turn it off. As I discussed, like from my understanding, these different settings, at least in the literature and stuff for research, doesn't really support like any difference. I don't think it'll probably play any difference, but that's kind of everything there. As far as the design, it's kind of this plastic design. It has a rubber handle here, so you get a little bit of grip there. The bottom has like a slight rubber rim on the bottom here, but the rest is kind of plastic too. And then the head kind of just lifts off and on, and kind of not really click into place, but it kind of just sits on top there. Here's the traveling cases. So it's kind of relatively cheap as far as plastic. It's just like a plastic case. You can't put it in with the head on, so you essentially have to take the head off and then slide it in here, but it does click into place here, and it's pretty secure. And then you can put the head directly into there, and it clicks right in. And so you can close it off, and it's pretty easy. Whether it's watertight or water sealed, I don't really know. Maybe not, just because there's some holes on the top, and then there is a hole on the bottom here. I don't know what to make of it though. And it kind of opens there, but not too sophisticated. But I would think it serves the purpose of if you're traveling like in a hotel or flying or anything like that, it'll be able to like hook it, like take it on off easily and close it up. The one thing that I saw on reviews online is that people did say that at least the brush head does sometimes get mold in here, so you'll have to be very careful with that. I'll kind of review that and see how it goes over time. But that's everything for the brush. What I'll do now is I'll just hook this up and then I'll go into the bathroom and brush my teeth for the first time with it, and we'll kind of see what our general thoughts are. So give me 1 second. Okay, so as many of you know, I have Invisalign. I'm doing a whole series on that, so if you have questions about that, go to those videos, but I'll just pull those out. And then what toothbrush or toothpaste I'm using is just like the Crest Pro Health. Kind of started using that more recently. And so we'll just kind of put a pea-sized amount like this. And then we'll just kind of use the first setting here. I don't know which setting that is, but we'll look into it later on. So I'm not sure if it stops on its own. Some interesting things about it is about every 30 seconds or so, it does kind of vibrate and tells you, I guess that's the pressure sensor or the sensor, quadrant sensor that allows you to know like you should switch to a different area. The technique with this is very different than when you use a manual brush, where you have to kind of like, with a manual brush, you have to rotate or spin, like brush like kind of this way and the entire time, versus this is really you're pressing it against your teeth and then allowing the toothbrush to actually do the like mechanical movement rather than you doing it with your hand. So it's really just pressing it against it. I found that for this I didn't have to press at all. As far as cleanliness, it feels pretty good. I don't know, like a major difference. I'll say it's a little bit smaller head than I'm used to, so I feel like that I'll have a little bit more control where it'll prevent me from pressing up against my gums and potentially causing damage in the process from pressing too hard. But I feel like compared to at least a manual brush, I don't have to press as hard because I'm not kind of doing that motion or brushing as much as I typically would. It's really just holding it and being careful as far as where I put it. I do notice that, at least with my first time using that you have to be a little bit more precise as far as putting it in the right place and getting all the areas yourself. You might miss areas if you're not used to using it. So I'll have to develop a routine as far as how to use the brush effectively to not miss areas. So it'll be kind of systematic. Like I've been brushing my teeth since a child, obviously, and like I've been brushing the same way or in the same general way to not miss my teeth as my parents taught me. But this is a different technique. So this is the Pro 1500. I'll do a follow-up review if I have any issues or anything with it, but it seems like a very nice brush for the price. It's definitely cheaper than more expensive models, and I did a whole video of why I ended up picking this over other models. Hopefully it pans out for what I think it is, but I think it'll be a better option than the manual toothbrush, and we'll kind of follow up if I run into any issues. So thanks for watching. If you have questions, post them below. Please like and subscribe and continue watching. If you're interested in Invisalign, I've been doing a whole series on that, so please look into those videos if you're interested. But have a great night.